Hi, welcome back to Mass Learning Groups again. Now today we are going to continue with how to draw a two-part journey, a speed, distance, timeline. So this kind of questions will take about, I think about 2 marks. Okay, about 2 marks, and maybe for some papers it's about 3 marks. But should not be more than 3 marks, right? It's about at least 2 marks. So how do we draw this problem, which is still quite a simple problem to draw. So if you look at the question, Benny took 3 hours to drive from X to Y at a speed of 85 km per hour. Now, the word average, which can be quite confusing, all right, for some students, because later on in the next lesson, you find that students make a very common mistake of finding average, right, of using the concept of what they learn in P5. And this word average is not your, is actually redundant. Okay, I would say it's redundant, but we don't really have to use this word. If you cancel the word, right, it means that Benny took 3 hours to drive at a speed of 85 kilometers per hour. Then why do we have this word average? It's to tell you that it is a constant speed. The speed never changes. That's why it's called average. So it's a constant speed. All right. So, but otherwise, we don't really have to look at this word. All right. We just look at it. Benny took 3 hours to drive at a speed of 85 kilometers per hour. And then he took another 3 hours to drive from Y to Z at a speed of 84 kilometers per hour. So the word average, you can actually ignore it, right? You can just ignore this word because it means that it is a constant speed, never change, right? For this part of the journey, the speed never change. So what's the total distance he traveled? Okay, so if you don't know how to solve this problem, and you also don't know how to draw this problem, then what is the thing, what should you be doing? You should be acting out the problem using fingers, right? Your finger will represent Benny. So when you use your fingers to move like Benny, you always start from the left side. Your fingers start from the left side, and then it will go to the right, right? So Benny drove from X to Y. So this is X, which is the starting point, and the Y is the destination. And then after that, it took another 3 hours to drive from Y to Z. So that is another destination. So now you can see that it's a two-part journey. And then what do we do? Every part has a family, right? Each part of the journey has a family of speed, distance, and time. And the second part also has a family of speed, distance, and time. And of course, you will have a third family. The third family will oversee the entire journey. Okay, this is the what I would call it the boss. Okay, the boss family, the mafia family. They oversee everybody. Okay, and of course you will need to what? You will need to label who is moving. So Benny. Okay, Benny is moving. So when you draw the bar model, it is the same. You have to label who, right? Who is in the model, right? So Benny is in the model, and your model is done. So what's the next step? Now the next step is simple. Is to plug the numbers and put into the model. So Benny took 3 hours, okay, to drive from X to Y, and the speed is 85 km per hour. Okay, so and he took another 3 hours, which is the second part of the journey, to drive at the speed of 84 kilometers per hour. Okay, so what was the total distance he traveled? And that's your question mark. So you can see that the model is done. All right, it's done. And if it's a good model, you don't need to look at the question if it's a good model. So you look at the model and it will guide you on what to do next, which is to find the missing blanks. Okay, the missing numbers. So to find the total distance, I need to find the distance for the first part and the distance for the second part, and then you just add them together. See, the model is, that's how the model guide you, right? Otherwise, without the model, you'll be thinking a bit more. You'll be spending more time trying to process what to do. So let's get the answer now. So the distance for the first part, if you remember your triangle, so you always must have your triangle ready. So your triangle is distance equal to speed multiplied by time. So my speed is 85 km per hour, and you multiply by 3 hours. So once again, you have to make sure that you put the units in your steps so that you can check to see whether the units are the same. If the units are the same, then you can multiply. Because if they are not the same, you will have to change it. You have to convert to make the units the same. So you have 85 times 3, that will be 255 kilometers. And you put that inside your model. So whatever you work out, you put into your model. All right, what's the next step? Now, the next step is to look at how to find the distance for the second part. So distance is equal to speed, which is 84 km per hour multiplied by time. And of course, you need to check the units again to make sure they are the same. So you have 84 times 3, and you will get 252 kilometers. And whatever you have found, you put inside. So you put inside the model. Okay, so now can you find the total distance? So the total distance will be, you take 255 km plus 252 km, and you get your total distance. And what's the answer then? Now the answer will be 507 kilometers. And that's your total distance. And you solve the problem. Okay, you solve the problem already. So do I need to find the other missing link? Do I need to find the speed here and the time here? You don't have to, because you got the answer already. All right, so this is the effectiveness of the speed distance timeline. This model or this method can be used to solve almost many questions, right? But it really depends on whether you can draw out the problem. Because if you can't draw the problem, or you don't draw clearly, you don't draw accurately, then of course you will have difficulty trying to solve, right? So it's important that you practice, right? Practice on how to draw out the problem, right? Using what you've seen, and then progress. Okay, progress to doing your own drawing, because model, you don't memorize model also, right? How do you become competent in drawing models? You of course you learn the basic, you learn the templates. All these are like templates, and then from this template that you learn, you build on the templates. This you use the templates to create your own drawing, right? So everybody has different kinds of drawing, but can still solve the same problem, right? So it doesn't need your model. There's no one model to solve, right? Everybody can draw differently by using a common templates. This is like a common templates. And then you can still solve the problem. All right, so this is the end of our two-part journey. So in our next lesson, we will look at something which is also a two-part journey. And how do you find the average speed for the whole journey? And that question is something that students make mistakes because of the word average, right? Because they get confused, right? And they use what they learn in P5 to find the average speed. So that we will talk about that in the next lesson. All right, so see you in our next lesson video.